Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? I am your planetary defense commander, Star-Lord New Thor 7, and I'm on break right now. What does that even mean? Well, here's the deal, man. There really is no such thing as break. But I'm going to take a minute or two to wander away from reality. I'm going to smoke a cigarette, and I suggest you smoke them if you got them. Um, I'm going to have a sip of a beer. And I'm going to say, God bless everyone. Because it is a crazy day indeed. And I'm glad that you are here with me. The world has never been crazier. And since I'm on break, I can be up in my imagination and start thinking about stuff in non-sequential ways. It has me thinking about Space Force. That space is all over the place, as Phoenix likes to say. And that right now we are battling uh, an invisible, tiny little, what is it? It's almost like it. Think of it as an antimatter. Crap, I'm all over the place, huh? Okay, Ivan the K on Twitter, who I like to nickname Tyler Durden of Zero Hedge, has a saying that there is no expert of the coronavirus, and that is true. And the thing is that over the last 5 to 8 years, social media has conditioned everyone to be an expert of everything at all times. And so, the big boss video game we all face right now, the coronavirus, um, it is a big unknown factor. To quote Donald the Rumsfeld, there are knowns, there are known unknowns, and then there are unknown unknowns. And then I think there was an old saying of too many chiefs, not enough engines. Though, geez Louise, that might be offensive to some people, I guess. I don't even know. Everybody gets offended by many things, which makes risk and danger assessment communication difficult at times. So I guess the whole point of this Mercury retrograde awkward I'm on break talking to you as you're my buddy point is that if there's one thing we've seen today, it's that communication lines are all over the place, whether they be local or statewide or national or organization wide. You have many people saying many things in many ways. You have the president saying we've contained it. And if I understand things correctly, you can't really contain this. And so we don't even really understand what it is. And so, but I gotta say, man, whether it be hurricanes or asteroids or ninjas coming through my motherfucking door, dang, I cussed again. It is best to plan for the worst and pray for the best. And so, one of the things that is shocking as your planetary defense commander, and it's not shocking at all, but how little information we have about the virus and what it does, how it spreads, where it goes, what is its danger, what is the incubation time, what is the real kill rate, how much, we have a tiny amount of information that we can verify or that we're getting consensual agreement, consensus on, you know? And that's no real surprise because we haven't been in a real live action type scenario before. But you have, for example, Iran is we have, what was it 60 people got the virus, but 15 are dead. If that is true, that's a pretty high ratio of loss. And so governments aren't always good at giving the people the information in a good fashion. Shit. Anyway, I'm on break. And so, to take a break from the Planetary Defense Commandering and to just sit down and talk to you, my buddy, about what is going on in a chit-chatty fashion, yeah, there are supreme levels of weirdness. And as I've said the whole time, I am Star-Lord New Thor 7, your Planetary Defense Commander, the T, a Norse Christian Jedi, and that, we're dealing with straight up magic. Like, there's always been a form of blood magic on the planet. There have always been the people who sacrifice people group, and somehow from sacrificing a bunch of people, you can get some weird ass magic power ups from that. I'm pretty sure that's fucking true, although it never really goes well. And so, before the Black Plague, they sacrificed like 1,000 people, and then you got the Black Plague, and I definitely think over the last 7 years, we've had some super weird shit going down. And that somehow somebody manifested something nasty out of the bottomless pit, whether it be with a particle collider or reverse engineering ancient alien fucking germs. Who knows, man? But I'm just saying, like, if you have an unknown, if we have a true black swan on our hands, we've been dealing with it for about a month. I would guess it came here around the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. That was a whole lot of Saturn, man. And so, it is, I think in many ways it's humbled a lot of people, although people aren't good at showing how humble they are or how they're like, I don't know. But I think we are all handling all this information together and doing the best we can with it. And so I definitely don't get the sense that this is a controlled event unless it's a controlled event, I don't know, it's all pretty fucking weird. Did you guys ever see 12 Monkeys? And honestly, between us, since I'm on break and there should be some type of bartender, psychiatrist, you cannot tell anybody else what I told you and you can't use it against me because we're just brainstorming here. It's that I believe time travel is real. And then I believe aliens are here and real. I just want to get that out between you and I. Like, if I had to guess, and then I would guess even dimensional sequencing is real. So I've gotten a chance to talk to a lot of people over the last 20 years, man. And I don't know if everybody's bluffing, and I don't know why they'd want to bluff me along the way. But I think we've been dealing with a whole lot of nasty shit for a while. And there's a strange particle collider element to this. What do they call it? Antimatter? So remember, they were like, if we pulled a piece of antimatter from the anti-dimension, it would start to eat everything around it. So it's like the antimatter family, or quark, muon quark. Then there's the whole gray goo, and gray goo is like stage one of black holes. Yeah, I don't even know. But okay, so our main points of this thesis here, hanging out, is that I don't think we have any experts on this, and so you know, I would like the gatekeeping around me to stop, and I would like to get my team as fast as possible. Um, so I don't think we have a lot of experts, and I don't think the groups are too great at sharing information right now. And that right now it would be great to have a good, solid data set on what we're actually dealing with and what the actual situation is. Um, my intuition tells me stuff a lot, and it's more accurate than woo. You know, it's uncanny. And so I think at some point this may just go away or be a lot easier to deal with, whether that be July. July is the point that I'm focusing on. And so if we were looking at it like, okay, we had to survive this thing from now to July, that's 150 days. And so the main components of that would be for 150 days would be that make sure you have clear communication lines, make sure the power stays up, make sure that everyone is fed. And that if you had a way to keep everybody fed, the power on, that I think we're all pretty good at staying home. We're way better than we were in the 90s, man. In the 90s, everybody used to go everywhere all the time. But now that we have smartphones and we're all connected, it's technically easier for us to stay in one spot and keep ourselves entertained. And so, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. Space Force style. Like, space is all over the place. Now we have to work together. Look, like, this thing knows no motherfucking national lines. And that technically, don't get too pissy, but I'm not a big fan of national lines. They're like these invisible lines that people drew over time to divide us all. And the idea that like God loves any nation more than any nation has always been the dumbest shit I ever heard. You know what I'm saying? We respect God's boundaries. God does not have to respect our boundaries, man. And so, this is a problem we all face together as one Earth family. And I'm looking at like a video game. This is a problem that can be solved. This has been part of Asteroid Fight Club the whole time. At no point during the process have I been like, oh shit, this was totally unexpected. And so, I don't know. As usual, it would have good information. And if we got good information, it'd be easier to figure this problem out. And so, I know that a lot of mindsets have been set and trained on trying to figure out how to make the most money or control the situation. But I don't think this is one of those situations where you can control it, man. Now, here's the deal. Okay, I'm a vape. Nobody minds. I'm assuming that everyone listening is cool. Okay, so one of the things with being Thor News is that no matter what my numbers have represented, a lot of people listen to me. And a lot of people have listened to me for a while. And so, as I've discussed the whole time, I represent everybody, every single human being on the planet, every single animal. I'm your planetary defense commander. And then at no point in time just blaming a single human being or stringing people up or like that is not my thing. Okay? And that though I've been a bridge between the power and the people listen to my advice, but it has not been taken fully yet. And so, Jamie Dimon, and let me say, I hate when I call out anyone who I'm referencing as a point, and someone's like, that person is evil. Like, at this point, like, everything is extremely complicated, and there's a whole Snape factor in all things. And that I have to give credit to pretty much everybody that has gotten us this far. Civilization has not collapsed yet. So, like I said, this is not a fucking round robin court where we try anyone as we're looking for a solution. So Jamie Dimon said, "Hey man, what if they had it at Davos?" And so that everybody from the that right now, everybody from the top to the bottom, like nobody knows what the hell is going on, and that we gotta work together. We gotta communicate. We have to be able to have confidence that we trust each other when we have to. That there are a billion families on the planet, and that it took generations of good men and women to get us here, to build all of our cities, to build all of our roads, to invent all of our inventions, and that for the last 20 years, we have watched the generation going out and the generation coming in try to figure out how we would extend a system that has stood for 100 years. Okay? And so, if you understand what I'm talking about, that there was a system in place that pretty much got us from point A to point Z from year 1900 to year 2000. And that though there were bumps in the road, and though, yes, crimes were committed, overall, humanity and civilization continued to take steps forward together where progress continued. And that since about 2000 until now, everybody's been trying to work it out. And as we speak, the power groups are still trying to work it out. You and I are here trying to work it out. And that this virus has definitely added a variable that I'm pretty sure no one planned on. I've always been concerned about supply lines, that at no point do we want major supply line breakdowns. And I think at this point, we still have the overarching supply lines working. They're just not working well together. If there is something I've been disappointed in, it is the world's response to the situation in China. And I've said the whole time that by us helping China, we help ourselves. Because this is an unknown pandemic that is breaking in a virusy fashion. And so, as we work with China, we are working with the place where it broke out And they are the ones who are going through it now, and we all know that it's probably going to spread. Anyone who's understood this basic situation has understood that it goes through the air, and that because of airplanes and human carriers, it's going to spread. And so we need to figure out what we're dealing with and what we can do with the resources we have. And so I definitely think that there should be an open admittance that nobody knows what we're dealing with, and that all the groups need to work together to figure out all the information, and that every preparation we can make now can only be made with the proper information. I don't think I said that very well, so I'm gonna take another sip of beer and I'm gonna light a cigarette. But it's not too late, like it's not game over, but the clock is ticking. And you know what? Everybody needs love. Everybody out there loves somebody or something. And so we all need each other. And so there are people, we all have good reasons to work together. We all have good reasons to step up our game. Now, man, I've been selling teamwork as the future plan since I was like 7 years old, man. We always talk about God and Jesus and the Bible and prophecies. And I've been pretty firm in my beliefs since I was a kid. And so everyone looks at the Bible in their own way and pulls out of it whatever they pull out. I understand that very well. And so I've always seen the book of Revelation as the story of Christ and the second coming as that after the period of tribulation and trials here on earth, the Christ figure would lead us to 1,000 years of peace. Wrote a bunch of movies on it, wrote a bunch of songs. And so that is what I have always believed in. And so I've been betting on that my whole life. And I'm not going to change. That whatever this is, we will survive it. And that stumbling, bumbling, and sometimes fumbling, we will get to a much better place together. Love always finds a way. Yeah. But did you not we're like 2 decades after Y2K, bro. We like the world has changed so much in 20 years. But speaking on that same subject, it's mind-blowing how much they control the information. Like digital allows them to have almost total control over what we hear, what we see, and what we learn. You know, like I'm pretty sure the majority of people who've been with me for anywhere of the 7 years have known that they've kept me in a digital cage, you know, Like my shit is not allowed to go viral at any point. But I'm grateful to A, still have a platform, a stage where I can come talk to y'all any day, every day that I want. And I'm super grateful that I am still alive. Because I'm pretty sure it took a lot of miracles and it takes some teamwork from keeping people from killing me. Because there have definitely been quite a few who've wanted to over the last decade. And I'm sorry for the times that I was weak and said some shitty shit. All right. Cheers, y'all. And I did say, while I'm on break, I want to say that as your planetary defense commander, and y'all have taken care of me, that I would talk to y'all and give you the information as I could when my emotions and energy allow me to. Because it gets weird. Let me tell you, there are times where, like, I just need to lay there trying to figure out what the next move is, watching a zillion timelines in my mind. And there are times where, if you're a Twitter junkie, like if you want to get all the information in as fast as possible, Twitter's the place, man. Twitter is like the ticker tape of the Matrix. And even on days like today or yesterday where you're watching the Dow Jones and the S&P and the NASDAQ, or during any major breaking event, Twitter's the place. Twitter's, I always say it's like the danger room if you're an X-Men fan. And so there are days where I can take in all the data, but I don't know how to communicate it to y'all. Because I never want to like feed crappy shit, garbage in, garbage out. Like I never want to give you guys bad information. I never want to make you guys feel bad or negative or like hopeless ever. Um, but I have to give you guys the truth as I see it. So I do my best. But there are times where it is good if I'm not talking to nobody. And so, like I said, during February, anytime I'm up, I'm here with you on break, buddy. Some days you want to be on break alone, and some days you're glad to have somebody to talk to. Yeah, so can't remember what day was the freaking. You can pretty much go right down to that Saturn Pluto, dude. Like you have Saturn. And so during my Saturn transit, there's the black cube, right? It's a black cube. And so Saturn and I became friends or family, technically. We're all the planets, we're all family. And so I got to understand Saturn better, and Saturn got to understand me better. And so during the Saturn transit, Saturn got all the colors. Now Saturn might be pissed and be like, we had all the colors before you, buddy. Or whatever. But and so I don't know, I've always seen Saturn as neutral. Um but if you step outside of like even just earthly realm human stuff, the if you think of the solar system as a family, you know, it's been dysfunctional as a family for a while. But just like with Earth, like with the solar system, like we have this virus perturbing us. I'm pretty sure our solar system has other solar systems perturbing us. So like the solar systems had its own local battle to like who's the coolest, who's the prettiest, who's the smartest, who runs Bartertown and solar system. You know? And I've always seen Earth as like a representation of all the planets here in one place in one town. And so it just like there's an exterior force pressing in on humanity, there's an exterior force pressing in on our solar system. And I know I listed off the other day, like, I'm still alive. Dave Grohl is still alive. Brad Pitt is still alive. Dave Chappelle is still alive. Eddie Murphy is still alive. There are a shit ton of good guitar players that are still alive. Bruce Willis is still alive. Shit. Willie Nelson and Clint Eastwood are still alive. So, I'm sorry that list was male heavy, but is it talking about? Okay. I'm on break. Oh, this is the portion of the show I'm going to say thank you to Inkblot Steven. Today in the mail, he sent me some guitar strings. And the weird thing was, as I was thinking, like, if we go on lockdown and I got to stay at here or somewhere else during that period, I definitely need extra guitar strings. So thank you very much, because I always pop my G's, which is a string. Ooh. So they sent me 2 packs. Thank you. Thank you. And seriously, to the people who sent me 2 guitars last year, oh my God, just, that is so cool. Okay, so now's the portion of the show where crud. I lost it. Yeah. All right. Man, how much time do I have left on my break? I don't even know. But shit is crazy. Before I gotta go get another beer. Hold on a second, please. This is a portion of the show where I'm like, hey, if I had boobs and you were laying down, this is what it would look like. Okay, that was weird. This is just a baseball. And this is just a crystal ball. And people have been like, that crystal ball is weird. I'm like, I totally know, man. But this was given to me as a gift. And I'm a big Harry Potter fan. People are like, dude, Jesus could be so mad at you that you played with a crystal ball that someone gave you. I'm like, dude, it is made of crystal. It is geological. But then they were like, dude, whatever female gave it to you could have cursed it. And I was like, oh dang shucks. So I think another female had sent me this crystal wand type thingy. So I tried to zip zap. I was like, get out, dude, get out, bad magic, zip zap. Pew, 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 pew. Right? So problem solved. Moral to the story is, what are the American things to keep the pillars up? Apple pie, baseball, and rock and roll. And so, to the 13, definitely the digital 6, and the 300, I have asked time and 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 time again for rock and roll and music to be released to the people. And that for a while, rock and roll and all the best music and musicians has been off with the mansion set, for lack of a better term. And I've been trying to explain how music is one of the components of flow that exists within our emotional fluid dynamics. And that to make it further in the future, all of humanity, including the animals, the birds, the dogs, the cats, the geckos, the rhinoceroses, the giraffes, everybody and everything loves good music. And the louder that it can reverberate, though not too loud. I know every single band likes to play a little louder than their small club, but talking Mother Nature levels. Everything gets healed and is healthier and is inspired by music. So yeah, I get why you guys put it in a tin can. Same reason you put me in a tin can. To get whatever you were going, it helped to strip people of their spirit and their good energies. So, but now with a breaking pandemic that is threatening the richest of the rich and the poorest of the poor, one of the main tools at my disposal, if we are going to use magical and mystical means, would be music. So, I've been asking for music back, and I definitely think it's one of the best things we can fight this thing with. Though I'm only telling this to Asteroid Fight Club on break, like that's not how, like my prescription for like all the things we can do. That's like rock and roll. You know, that is one of the things that we can do on an attack, fighting, defense mode. And so, but I definitely think it is one of the things that can help beat this thing back to hell. You can do a lot of shit with a good wall of sound, man. You have a good imagination behind good intent, good will, and a good wall of sound in a magical earth composition. Earth being made up of all the planets in the solar system. In spirit, we can definitely kick this thing's ass. And we can definitely step up the speed to which we improve at all things. And so there's never been a better time to release music and rock and roll and the human spirit from the cage it has been in. And definitely up to this point, Music Mafia has been stubborn. Oh, hey, by the way, did you guys hear Bob Iger stepped down from his position at Disney? That is a big deal, man. That is a big deal. So I think I'm going to go get another beer. And I'll be right back. But I want to say that I love you. I'm glad you're here with me on break. Shit is crazy. and that I appreciate anyone and everyone who can find the beauty and the magic in all the things that are in every moment of the modern age. Yeah, I know there's a lot of shitty shit out there, but all the potential and all the abundance of the future still waits for us for to get our shit together. You know? Like, okay, dream with me for a second. The thing that I've always seen since I was a little kid. And I've seen the whole planet working and building and creating and living together as one. It's a cool place, man. There's so much you can do, there's so much you can build. I discuss Harry Potter because there's a thing in Harry Potter called the Room of Requirement. And in the Room of Requirement, you will find whatever you need. And so, Earth and the solar system around us is like the Room of Requirement. That we have everything we need to feed everybody. We have everything we need to build good homes for everyone. We have everything we need for anything we might dream up in a good fashion. Now, the system that got civilization this far has been based on a scarcity model. And so we are transitioning from a false scarcity system into a system of shared abundance. And that, do humans deserve good health care? Yes, they do. Do humans deserve food? Yes, they do. Do humans deserve a place to sleep and call their own unobstructed? Yes, they do. And so, we've spent a lot of the last 20 years, the last 50 years, arguing about those three things. Well, I just answered all three of them for you. And they're going to be three of the main components of the big abundance test. And what I'm trying to tell you, and what I've been trying to tell you for a long time, is that if you give everyone a place to live, and we've discussed, like, let's call it 20 feet by 20 feet, where it's yours as long as you're alive. You give them all food and electricity. And then you give them all healthcare. Then you still have all this, like, you still have 97% of all the stuff on our planet. It's still there to do with it as you please. And then you have the overall human vibration, as we all have an electrical field from our mind and a magnetic field from our hearts. The overall magnetic electrical fields that every single human being is creating is a zillion times better than what is being created right now. Do you understand that? I'm gonna go get another beer. I'll be right back. All right. Hold up. Cheers, y'all. We'll drink some water. I guess technically in a pandemic situation, I need to cut my hair. So I should enjoy the long hair while I still have it. Have I ever told y'all the story about this hammer? Am I allowed to tell stories now? That shit is a little bit out of control. Right now, there's a guy named Palmer. Him and his nephew are super cool dudes, man. Anyway, this guy Palmer, and technically I'm pretty sure I signed an NDA, so I might be breaking a rule, and if I am, I'm really sorry. Don't want to fuck anything up, but right now I think we're beyond the atoll and on the event horizon, so it's okay for me to tell a few stories. All right, so Palmer invented this invention. Palmer is a super cool dude, man, where it equalizes pressure to where you can like take 100,000 psi and equalize it out to 0, but still use the pressure. So like if I had a 100,000 psi gun, I could carve a mountain like I was Michelangelo and like carve an entire mountain into whatever sculpture I wanted to do. And so that was an invention and a patent. Suppose it was like the greatest oil invention since the diamond tipped oil driller thingy. But it's been caught up in litigation. But the guy that invented that gave him his hammer. He was a super cool dude, man. And his nephew's a super cool dude. Cheers to super cool people. And I would like to give also a shout out to Forrest. Forrest is also super cool. There are a lot of super cool people. Oh my God, I'm on beer 2. Wait, this is 3. Okay, this is how cool Palmer is, man. If I understand correctly. Because Palmer, like me, really likes beautiful women. And so one of his wives, he had they flew up to the peak of a mountain and got married on top of a mountain on a helicopter and then flew down. That is cool shit, man. I've never gotten married, but if I did, top of a mountain might be a cool place to do it. Oh shit, now I'm just talking nonsensical stuff. That's not true. All right, see, that's a weird day. So I've been on break for 49 minutes now. And there's still a decent amount of sunlight up. What has happened since? And that's been one of the strange things. Is that a lot of times I'm either getting rolled by the data or me trying to figure out like, how do I talk to y'all? What do I say? What is the move that can be made here? Or I'm just imagining stuff in my mind. Because let me tell you the thing, whether it be The Simpsons or like the Dean Koontz novel, or it's the whole double capture of, does art create life, or does art Im- imitate life, or does life imitate art? It's a weird binary yin yang thing that happens. And so not only are they fighting a battle in the narrative, but literally every single musician out there, every single poet out there, every single screenwriter, painter, like we are all in a battle for the future of everything. And so I have written, I know over 10 or 11 feature length screenplays for movies, all original, bunch of poems, bunch of stories, bunch of songs. And the majority of the time, I have known that not only do I create my future, but I'm also helping to create the future of mankind. So in the Dean Koontz book, I can't remember what month the virus gets the shit kicked out of it and is gone. Nostradamus says July. And Jim said it better be gone by April. And I'd like to defeat it as soon as possible. But I think I'm definitely going to need a team. And if not, I will do my best to pray every day and to take sonic frequency shots at it with my guitar when the energy is around. Great music never dies, it just vibrates all throughout time. I totally agree. And that today, when I was waiting for the mailman, I was sitting out on the bench playing my guitar. And when I stopped playing, the birds were singing with me. So as I stopped, and there was one that was like, it sounded like a dove. I don't think it was. Hoo, hoo, hoo. And it's, anytime I make animals happy with music, and it's a good thing. And it has been my belief that the sun is listening to you. The moon is listening to you. Our planet is listening. The animal, like everything everywhere is listening to you. The stars, the planets for sure. And so music is magic, music is healing, and music is the key to this adventure. Ups and downs, man. Ups and downs. Yeah, I mean, the frequencies and vibrations that can be created. It's like when you're done, you play like an acoustic guitar or your instruments, the reverberations that end, if you played well, are always like, they sound like aliens singing happily. Someone said, just imagine if one mailman carries the virus. And so I've told y'all a story about how for the last 3 years, I've had a lot of people trying to kick the shit out of me, like breaking into my mailbox, tapping into all my PayPal, my like I have just been under fire. Like I've never exaggerated that. Like it has been fucking wild, especially after March of last year. And there were different times where they would just come at me. And so, like I've said, that to this day, I still don't trust my mailbox. And so, over the last few months, the majority of the time, I will wait for the mailman just because that is the only way I know if I got the mail that was sent to me. And during that time, there are 3 different people on the route, and I talk to them, and they're cool. They're really, 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 really cool. And that, I don't know, I think most of the teams, and like, you have to pay respect to our mailman. I do. That the mail, like, every day, they're always there. They're the ones bringing your Easter cards. They're the ones bringing your Christmas cards, your birthday cards. Like, the mailman has been one of the coolest points of humanity, and the fact that those people in they've been the lifeblood of the supply chain of life. And so I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I asked my mailman today, I said, have they talked to y'all at all about the virus? And he said no. And that, as I talked about previously in this video, where the information coming out has been hard to pick up. And that when it comes out, you just have to pick up if it rings true. And so, like, the things that I list off, when I list them off, are, from what I've seen, it can stay in the human for up to 24 days before showing signs. There have been reports that say it never leaves the human carrier, meaning that even after you overcome it or whatever, it's still in you and you might still be a carrier. Meaning you can get other people infected even though you are okay. Asterisk. And then I've seen things that say in some capacities it can stay up to 5 to 9 days on a surface. And that, so, like, even the secret ruling feudal class has to have some type of systems in place. And so, if I were officially your planetary defense commander in an American or international sense, one of the very first things, we're talking January 15th ish, January 17th ish, like, you would have to have been very concerned or have a plan for the mail system itself. And it even gets us into the, how much can this thing multiply? How fast can it multiply? Like, there are so many fucking variables. And now is the time for everyone to work together. And that what we all need is the good, proper, honest data. I just tried to, like, oh, look at me. And dude, right now I'm at like 270 pounds, because all I've been doing is, like, not leaving this place much because everything is so fucking weird all the time for me. And so, I don't know, a month ago I was 287. So the stress of all this, I've lost like 15 to 20 pounds. And when I started my Thor News YouTube channel, I was 227 pounds, man. You know what I'm saying? All right. So technically, when I made out with Taylor, I was like 243, 237. Anywho. But so, yeah, my stepfather, who was in the Air Force and was one of the greatest, coolest men I've ever known my whole life, passed away in 2018. He was a super cool dude, man. And he knew a lot. He, like me, had been around. And he said, no one's in control, dude. It is Occam's razor. And so I think we may have um, a lot more incompetence happening than people factor in. Now, at this point, there's absolutely zero gain from blaming anyone. Uh, but our president is the leader of the free world. And as I pointed out at Thor News, his Achilles heel is disaster response. I've made a point to discuss it about his response to Maria. It was beyond piss poor, and it was frightening. And his response to the fires in California as they were burning and people were dying was gangster and totally inaccurate. And so I'm not sure he is properly prepared to deal with this, which is okay. I am your planetary defense commander, though I would like more help. Like, if you just want to put me in charge of Space Force right now, I'm totally cool with that. Because we're going to need someone to communicate to everyone pretty crystal clearly. And they're going to need someone they trust. And honestly, right now, I believe my trust rating is higher than anyone on the planet. And rightly so. And yes, free will is a thing. But I think everyone would like to survive. And I think everyone would like to make it through this. And I think everyone would like to move forward into the future with their families and a chance at having the greatest days they've ever had in their entire life. So we need to assess exactly what we're dealing with. And then we need to figure out exactly what we can do. Cheers, y'all. And as I've said before, this has always been my long game, man. I've always seen teamwork. I've always seen everyone working together. I've always seen us building the world of the future together. So there's no way I'm changing my mind now. And I discussed so many times, either on my channel or in private personal conversations I would have with people, that any type of a controlled depopulation plan would have major, massive holes in it. Unless you were like a 10,000-year-old alien civilization that had farmed 100 Earth-like planets before us. If that were the case, then my ability to save the world and help us all transition into a better future would probably be more difficult, right? I do not believe that is what we're dealing with. And so now we have an uncontrolled depopulation situation on our hands. And I think, this has come about before with the Black Plague. This has come about with the Spanish flu, 1914. Testing of generations. But just like hurricanes and Earth weather changes, Earth has never been this populated. That every single town and civilization, every single town dealt with it in their own ways. And so now that we have all of the abundance and all the tools, how are we going to deal with it? And it was also a thing that I would say to the richest of the rich and the oldest money families on earth, that they have kept a tried and true system in place, meaning they have added on to a system that's already been in place. And at no point in time that we know of in modern age has there been a mass depopulation that was controlled on anything more than a non-astrological sense. Though, like I said, if we are dealing with fucking aliens or 500-year-old vampires, there's a giant asterisk there as well. And so there's definitely no time to be cocky. Man, there's still sunlight. We shall see. Aliens not from fake space. But one of the things that we have all had to deal with, everyone who is alive today has had to deal with the question of what the hell is going on with outer space? What is going on with outer space? What is outer space? I can't tell you. I've never been there. And then I know the things they sell us are not always true. But I know that I have seen Saturn and Jupiter through telescopes, and that they are around. And when you see them in a telescope, it like tickles your insides. So we're like, this is weird, and this is cool. And this is weird, but this is cool. So if you have been a human like me that has shared I'm looking through a telescope, looking at a planet, and wow, I see it. I can even see the moons. That it's a cool thing. But I think, like when we went to the moon, and even when we put up the Hubble telescope, like our national debt when we put up the Hubble telescope was like 2 trillion. Right? And then just us as a nation has spent 20 trillion in debt. and that nothing in our space age knowledge has really improved. Like, are you still using the same phone you used in 1995? And so, whatever the instruments are that could explain to us more about the universe and the solar system around us, we have been stuck in 1995. It is 25 motherfucking years later, man. And that the space shuttle, they took it away. It would be my guess that we have the moon, like we're there on the moon. Although if we're not, then that means somebody kicked us off the moon. And both President Trump and Elon Musk have suggested that Mars runs the moon, vis-a-vis Mars runs Earth. And one of the clever things that is interesting to think about in a science fiction fashion is the dark NASA Richard Hoagland theory that there was like a transmitter on Mars that was like beaming out a signal, and it was basically like you're combining a whole lot of sci-fi here. It's basically like some person had carked themselves into an iPhone, and then the iPhone was like stuck in the dirt on Mars. But it like sent out signals like, I'm an iPhone, come get me. I'll teach you how to build iPhones. And so we went to the iPhone and picked up the iPhone and brought it back to Earth. And so, in that sense, through frequency, Earth has been being controlled by an exterior force. I don't know, Nostradamus technically officially puts it in 1999. Fear would come from the sky, but maybe I'm fucking shit up there. But what I'm saying is that, yeah, technically Earth may be being run by Mars since we went and picked up the iPhone on Mars. Whether in a screenwriting fashion or songwriting fashion or mythological fashion, it all fucking works for me, man. And so, like, it gets back to us dealing in frequencies. And Earth is my favorite planet. I will say that right now, openly, honestly, to you, as with God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit as my witness. Earth is my favorite planet. I love this place. Like I love my mama. And I was gonna say like I love Selena Gomez, but what? What? All day? Why? I'm on break. So talking about fucking Mars. Ooh. Oh yeah, did I mention Bob Iger stepped down from Disney? Anywho, so I'm not mad at Mars, but I got lost in one of my own conspiracy theories. I think the problem is that I'm holding in my urine, and that is fucking my shit up. I will be back. All right, let's all take a moment to breathe. This is beer number 4. This is a battle of vibration. If you think about how many people are on Earth, it's kind of crazy, man. I mean, think about it. There's about 7 billion people on Earth, and I am one person. And this camera angle is not my favorite. And you are one person. That is crazy. And my Jedi sense tells me that there is at least one Rothschild in the chat. You know what's weird? Is if I had to say it, I would say the Rothschilds are really like the Weasleys, but with a more David Lynch bent. I think technically the Lannisters is a good description, give and take, you know? I know, and it's even weird to like judge someone based upon their family, you know? That like it is goofy to say at any one point that like this person from the Smith family is evil. Like say the whole Smith family is evil. It's family dynamics is a crazy thing, man. You know what I'm trying to say? But I also want to say in the times that I have dealt with some of the richest people, some of the most famous people, that there's this whole discussion or attitude or unspoken thing about royalty. But like, who is royalty? Who isn't royalty? Like, you're a peasant. These are peasants, and seems kind of silly to me. You know what I'm saying? Tequila. But yeah, you know, we definitely need the Rothschilds to do some cool shit. I mean, didn't anyone watch Game of Thrones? Didn't anyone learn from Game of Thrones? We need the Rothschilds to do some cool shit. We need women to do some cool shit. We need everybody to do some cool shit. Someone in chat said, I stopped watching television. I would like to say to that, I stopped using rotary phones. Okay, I think I finally run out of shit to say. Yes, but like, oh man. 1A is to be think. Yeah, so what we're trying to do here is get to a civilization 1A. So that would be wonderful. It's just kind of like Star Trek, where you get to where we master our space and we have it keeping in balance, and then we can explore the worlds around us. We got to get to there first, right? And so there is a quickening happening. And that I'm having periods of extreme optimism. And I guess today is a weird period of extreme optimism. Ooh. And that Space Force is real. And then it would be great if I could have an official capacity in Space Force. It would be great if I could have my team. And it would be great if I could have my Valkyries. And it would be great if we could attack this thing sonically. And it would be great if we could get all the good information out there so that all the teams could work together on how to prepare for their own dealing with what we got. Because this little particle collider thingy is spreading pretty fast. And so what we do over the next 2 to 3 weeks is everything and extremely important. And that possibly millions, maybe even billions of lives depend on it. Okay, does anyone care? Yeah, everybody here cares about the virus, I'm pretty sure. And that I've been talking to y'all since I started here that the world as we know it is going to change in one form or fashion. And I even made a video at the beginning of the year saying 2020 would be the wildest year you would ever know. And at the end of the year, reality as you know it will not be the same. And we are 3 weeks into the second month of 2020. And so Space Force is a version of CCC. Oh, I'll get into that and then I'll be done. All right, so back in the day, they had a program called CCC. And so every human, every American could be involved in it to where if you kept up your neighborhood, you kept up your town, you had specific jobs, and you essentially had to work like 15 to 20 hours a week doing something, helping out your community. And you got basic money for food, place to live, and you got health care. And so everybody survived and existed on it. It was, but part of the focus was like you had to keep up your area, your town, your river, your streets. Like everybody pitched in to keep it. And as long as you were on the pitching team, you had all your basics taken care of. And it was a great thing. And the whole thing was at that time, CCC controlled all the minerals in America. Oil, natural gas, meteorite components, gold, silver. And so World War II came about. And so to fight Hitler, they did away with the CCC and they took the mineral rights away from all Americans because that was what was needed to fight Hitler. And so what I'm basically saying is that now, like, that's kind of what we're gonna transition to into a, like, as long as everybody's a good person and helps keep up their town, everybody will be taken care of. Everybody deserves health care. Everybody deserves food. Everybody deserves electricity and a place to live. And that even after you give everyone all of that, you will have so much abundance all over the place. And that the people who have compiled X amount of abundance, they will still have a lot of their abundance still with them. And so there's nothing to fear. All right, crap. I guess 4 beers in. Someone said that's socialism. And no, my friend, that is Civilization 1A. Because one of the things, like, you guys use these terms like socialism, uh, communism, capitalism. And let me tell you, as a writer, as a screenwriter, as planetary defense commander, those fucking are all out the window. That none of those exist anymore in any capacity. And that we are a corporate feudal system across Earth. And that places like China have been able to keep their power on and have been able to try to handle the overflow of the virus people because they are a state-run place. But that part of the reason that we are not showing any infections in the United States is that most people can't afford to get tested, or we don't have the test kits here now. And so when you have a major pandemic breaking out across the globe that nobody knows how to contain it, nobody knows its variables, that, like, I don't want to say anything that's going to fuck shit up, but like, if the death rate for a doctor, if you got a 50% chance that you're going to go into the hospital and help people who are infected and you're going to die, are you going to show up? In China, they're going to show up. Like here, you have, like, the nurses will have to make a decision. Do I want to make $34,000 a year? Do I want to get my next paycheck, or do I want to stay home and keep the chances of me staying alive open? And so that terms like communism, socialism, capitalism, those are all the old motherfucking systems, and they're not even fucking true. They are buzzwords to keep y'all arguing amongst yourselves. Because I've tried to explain to y'all the whole time I'm here that, like, in a socialism system, the people own the minerals, the people own the oil, the gas, like, and so now that all the minerals have been given to the corporations, there's no such thing as socialism. It's like I've tried to explain that we don't really have capitalism and a constitution-based system in America since Congress gave up its right to print money. That you are literally like living in a fantasy world that we are in capitalism or even the democratic system when Congress gave up its ability to coin money. Our country does not even control its own money. And so the isms, you know, that you're going, if and when the virus gets here, if you were trying to think of an old system of capitalism, like if you all to stay in these hospital stays in China would cost like anywhere from $200,000 to $2 million times what, 1 million people? You know what I'm saying? The 2008 crisis happened because the insurance companies had not properly backed their own bonds. And so if you have a mass pandemic where even 1 million people need emergency care that will last for a month, it's going to cause severe motherfucking problems. And that we all know that our healthcare system is one of the most clusterfucky things that exists. The two things I can't stand about our capitalistic system are A, prisons for profit. It is the most un-American, un-Christian, uncool thing out there. And then two, the fact that our healthcare industry is all about profit is fucking disgusting. Like, there are so many rights being violated just because that the healthcare system has been turned over to, for no disrespect to bean counters. Anyway, but that's what, if we want to stand on being afraid of old words, the time we need to take care of people, then we're gonna run into some major roadblocks because there are a lot of variables we're dealing with. And so, I mean, that's out of the many questions that we have to answer. My battery's about to die, so I gotta get off soon. But like, we aren't even testing people because only 3 states up until now had a coronavirus testing kit. Hawaii just asked Japan and China, we have some of y'all's testing kits because we're worried. Today, the people in California who are on lockdown or self quarantine went from 8,000 to 8,400. Like, capitalism has been off the rails since 2001, since Enron. Since Enron, the hijackers, the blackmailers, and the hackers have been running the show. And in many ways, the virus is like a weird fucking wrath of God equalizer. And so we can either do the right thing and work together, or we can try and arguing about capitalism, communism, socialism. I don't know. I've done the best I can. I'm sorry if I said anything stupid. I love everyone. Stay cool. Love you. Yay.